Hey guys, welcome to a pretty sweet 8-4 draft of the Dragon's Maze. Open a pretty stacked pack. Boom, far away. Boom, turn around. Boom, overalls, the Scar striped. Hey, he's even foil. I've seen some pretty nutty things go down with the guy, so I'm happy to snap him up here. And it looks like we're going to be passing some nice cards to our left. These will easily be picked up right away. People see this as some pretty strong signals. And then we're looking to see like the Splashing Moss Dog or even the Skylasher come around and maybe go into Golgari or something. Love the Zertod Druid, but man, this is a sweet pack. Nice. Let's make sure I know what I'm doing. Ooh. So, also then we got Karaz de Gorgon. It's exactly the kind of card that I want to be picking up in the same colors here, and it's what moves me into Golgari a lot of times anyway, but that's a pretty sweet put together. Another Thrashing Moss Dog I'm excited to see, because it means I'll probably see one of those wheel. And we're going to probably have someone pretty heavily in Dimir to the left of us, having passed both Haunter of Nightvale and the, the Far and Away. So we're probably not going to see a whole lot of black in our second pack. I just want to make note of that. Know that we're probably going to be looking to just pick up some solid green creatures here or there, and then really get Golgari on board in our last pack. Can move into a little bit of white here. I think I'm happy just to like take the Guildgate in case we do splash some Selesnya later on. I don't think I want to take the Maze Abomination right now. Boros Mastiff is probably the main card I would pick over Armored World Rider if I was going white. But yeah, I think I'll just take the Guildgate now for our options later. Kind of the same game plan. I could take the Guildgate or just take the Fatal Fumes. Now I'll take Fatal Fumes. Not an awesome removal spell, but we're going to need it, and I don't want to be showing a bunch of signals to someone. And the Golgari Guildgate isn't the one we necessarily need. We're looking for ones outside of our colors. And I just don't want anyone to be seeing Golgari at all. Coming around. Option to take the Cerulean Gatekeepers. That could actually go pretty well. And you know what? Fatal Fumes isn't that great. Maybe I'll take the Guildgate, and we'll just have a bunch of Guildgates, and then that way I can pick up the Ceruli and the Ubulsar Gatekeepers, and those are actually going to be pretty alright in my deck. So we'll grab the Guildgate here and kind of go deep in on that. I'm not going to pass a Thrashing Moss Dog in favor of Selesnya Guildgate 1 right now. It's not even doing anything in our deck because this card's just too good. Seeing another Fatal Fumes come around is fine. And seeing a lot of white open, which does mean Selesnya will probably be open later on as well. This is a super late Zertod Druid. I could take the Sunspire Gatekeepers, but if I'm going to move into another color, I'd rather just take the stronger card here. Don't care about Mutant's Prey or Mind Static, so let's take Zertod Druid. Ooh, really late Gorgon as well. I'm happy to take another one here. And then we're going to start loading up in 5s and higher drops eventually. Just Karaz de Gorgon's too good and too great to deal with. And, yeah, another Guildgate and Rakdos Drake. I think we're going to get pretty well rewarded in our last pack seeing all this. Probably not playing the Zertod Druid, but there wasn't really any other pick over it. But yeah, just starting here with these three makes me very happy. Passing the Fatal Fumes, the Rakdos Drake, okay cards. So yeah, now I am going to take, again, the Gatekeepers over the Higher Torture. Never excited for Higher Torture and Gatekeepers, even though I'll probably have plenty of 4s. If we have a couple more Guildgates come through, this could be a pretty back-breaking card. Anytime someone plays it with the Guildgates on board to gain a 7 life, I'm just devastated by it, because it's normally my opponent. I've never actually done it. But yeah, I like that. I like where this is going for now. Woo! So we're going to take the Zertod Druid over this Guildgate, because, as you see, we could very easily be Gruul after this next pack, maybe only splashing a little bit of black for a Karaz de Gorgon. Having 2 Zertod Druids is pretty okay. And the Guildgates were flowing pretty heavily there. It was picked up here because there wasn't really anything else in the pack, clearly. Weapon Surge is okay, but we'll just take the Cluestone to ramp into. Same with the Rakdos Cluestone idea. We could take the Smeltwater, even the Fido Burst. But if we're looking to maybe splash black in a Gruul deck, Guildgate and Cluestone will really help us with that. I don't think we need another Cluestone, so I will just take the Maze Behemoth, being an on-color card no matter what. Because the only thing we're for sure doing now is plain green. We're not too sure what our other colors. We definitely want it to be black or red because we have sweet cards in that. That way, I mean, maybe we do take the Gruul Cluestone, but we're not really planning on splashing red at this point. We're only playing red if we are on color red. And that's going to really just be based on what we see in this next pack. I think I still want to be prioritizing Golgari, and this is where the format's so funky. I have to be a little careful of what I grab here, and because I have to anticipate I'm not going to see a whole lot of black coming to me in this pack, which might mean I want to move away from it and go into Gruul, right? But that may not be the right choice at all, in fact, because we're getting Golgari in our third pack, so a little bit wonky there. If there was like a really strong black card here, I would totally go for it. Deckbuilding Rogue is perfectly fine. I think we just take Disciple of the Old Ways. Godless Shrine is awesome for value, but I think I'm going to need 2 drops in this deck, and this is kind of where I need it right now. We'll probably see Singing Enforcer and Snapjaw. Miming Slime is definitely notable, and could end up doing decent things in the deck, considering we're planning on scavenging and having huge dudes. So yeah, maybe I do take that. Because our game plan is to either ramp in or do something. This will easily at least be a 3-3 for 3 by the time we play it. Yeah, we'll take Miming Slime and hope that the deck synergy will get us there. Yak Races. Here's a Dimir Guildgate. Prophetic Prism if we want to smooth things out. I think we still just stay on our green color and look forward to Golgari in our last pack. If we didn't have this pick, I'd probably just take the Guildgate or the Prophetic Prism. Probably Guildgate just to turn on the Gatekeepers and have some options, but we're here. We're not seeing the awesome Gruul, which means we'll probably be moving away from these Zertod Druids pretty quickly. Take Basilica Screecher handily here. Burst of Strength isn't awesome. We're not going to move into white for an Extort Dude when we already have one. Drake and Krasis, again, pretty good, but I don't really want to move into blue by any means, so we'll just grab that one there. Ooh, Guildmage. Ooh, Syndic. Ooh, Guardian. These are some pretty stacked packs. What do I do here? We could grab the white card. I mean, at this point, Gruul isn't happening, so we're fine to cut those guys. Don't really want to Fido Burst. I want to remember that I have these dudes. And it looks like we really do want to be playing black. So we're either going to pick up a white card here, which we can splash in with Selesnya Guildgate. It's actually a pretty good one to have. Or we just pick up the next Guild Gate to help power out our Gatekeepers, which I'm kind of in favor of. Or we can just take a Snapjaw. Well, we're going to take the Guardian of the Gateless, because I think we can splash it. We might even get some more of our fixing on board to splash white. Not too sure, but again, I don't want to move into Selesnya quite yet. So of the of the off-color card I'm taking, it's the Guardian. Here I'm perfectly fine taking Wasteland Viper. Again, we weren't planning on seeing a whole lot of black passed to us because we passed some pretty sweet Dimir, and we're not really looking to splash the green. If this wasn't here, I could even take Burning Tree if Wasteland Viper wasn't here, I could even take Burning Tree Emissary over the Guildgate, even though I do kind of want Guildgates just to power up the Gatekeepers, but it's not a primary strategy, it's just over anything else. We'll take the Viper here and be happy. Here, it's between Thrall Parasite, Smite, and Corpse Blockade. Corpse Blockade being somewhat decent in our deck if we want to like stall out the board and get things bigger. Thrall Parasite just being a fine Extort Dude that we can later sacrifice and scavenge because it's that easy to do. Though I don't think Extorts are a major game plan. Smite being just a second splash color. But I don't want to go there. There's probably going to be one of the big 5 or 6 white removal spells. If I want another white splash, then I'll get there when I get there. And I'm not too sure if Corpse Blockade is powerful enough to really care. But then Thrall Parasite does nothing a lot of the time. We'll take Thrall Parasite. We might even get a Corpse Blockade. Still. Armored Transport will pick up over a naturalized sideboard because this could actually be played. And hey, if we scavenge onto it, it's fine. And again, anything that kind of we can not care about and then turn with Virals into some more value is perfectly fine. Not awesome, but definitely fine. Really late elusive Crisis. I'm just going to snatch up this Prophetic Prism so we can more easily play 3 colors if we see a whole lot of white go down over what, a Corpse Blockade or a Beckoning Apparition. Not too stoked on those. Yeah, so here we go. We'll just take the 4-drop. We're definitely not moving into blue at this point. We're looking to maybe go white because there was a lot of white, and I'm planning on seeing a lot of Selesnya. We don't need another 5-drop, especially one as wonky as this. Although this is a great guy to scavenge, let me tell you. You pay 5 to put a bunch of 6s out, but we don't need 5-drops. So we'll just go Curve Consideration with the 4-drop. And we'll take the Shadow Slice. Spire Tracer can work if a lot of scavenging happens, but I don't think I have that much synergy in the deck to really make that sweet. I think we're more likely to be playing a Shadow Slice with just getting huge chunks in. We'll cut Agoraphobia because that's actually a pretty decent card. Not too sure why it's still in the pack. Here we will take our Adaptive Snapjaw over the Shadow Alley Denizen. Naturalize for the Sideborn is fine. Same with Illness in the ranks, though I've yet to see a deck to where that matters in Dragon's Maze. So super loaded on 5s. We're gonna cut the Shadow Slice for now. We're not really in the ramped strategy, but we're noticing that we could go red, probably want to splash green, and then we're just looking to get rewarded in this pack 3 with some awesome Golgari, assuming it's opened well. This is one of the weaknesses of picking a Return of Ravnica guild as your main guild combinations, is if we don't get opening sweet cards anywhere, then we can get really screwed later on. Now here's Necropolis Regent, obviously a super strong card, but a little hard to cast at the triple black. But we're going to snatch it up because it is going to be super powerful. We have Prophetic Prison. We have some of our fixing to where it should be able to get played. And the only other option for us anyway isn't super strong. Terrasform, Chorus Might, Stag, Grim Roustabout, another Guildgate is fine, but I mean, not as important as getting this really strong 6-drop on board. Ooh, Dregmangler, that's exactly what I want to be seeing. I like there's 2 Guildgates in the pack. We might even see the Golgari one come. Not planning on it, but boom, Dregmangler. Yes, please. Okay. Could do the Gatecreeper Vine. Seeing a lot of good red and white. How much does Gatecreeper Vine matter? Now could be the time where I do just take Centaur Healer. It's definitely like the best card in the general colors we're doing. But if we're not doing a lot of white, especially because we have Necropolis Regent, I don't care much about Centaur Healer on the 3-drop slot. Yeah, I think we just take Gatekeeper Vine. It'll help us splash this white or any other big white spell that we end up getting if we see more. And yeah, just kind of like help us get there, as it were. Here's another Dregmangler. So stoked to have. Death's Presence kind of works in our deck, not so much. I don't think it works in anyone's deck, but man, getting all the X, +1/+1 counters just is insane with the Gorgons. But I'd rather have the Dregmangler, which is even more insane. Ooh, Krozda Guildmage is sweet. Would love to have this launch party, but I think we care way more about the Krozda Guildmage. Alright, so we kind of got there. Read the signals right and what was being passed to us. I think they were very strong signals in terms of Golgari, and then just had to keep our fingers crossed that that would reward us in this pack, and it has so far. We're not done. There's still a lot of cards I don't want to be playing, and I'm really hoping to see a couple of super late cards keep coming, maybe a Sluiceway Scorpion or 2 being passed a little late, but that'll still allow us to sort of clean up this deck and make it just a touch more powerful. So like maybe here we take the Golgari Key Rune, that way we might be playing both a Cluestone and a Key Rune just to make sure we get into our Regent, maybe a little bit early. We're definitely not playing the black or the white spells. Teleportal Sweet, we can totally cut it. But I think this will just help us a little bit better. And then I'm happy to have Launch Party here, especially with having 1 Gatekeeper Vine already. We just need removal spells. We have way too many creatures. I mean, this is probably gone. This is probably gone. Anyway, Thrill Parasite I'm not exactly stoked on. But it's a fine guy to Launch Party into. But yeah, we just want a removal spell. Boink. Yeah. I think we will play both the Cluestone and the Key Rune for double ramp into our 2 6-drops. Especially because they have some amount of utility later on. Unless we get really way more powerful spells in the near future. Might even just cut Guardian the Gateless since we don't need it. But since, I don't know, if we're playing Prophetic Prison and Selesnya Guildgate, it's basically a free splash. But it does mean we're playing Prophetic Prism for just this one card. So I'll have to decide if I feel like it's that important. Here we'll take the Giant Growth over the Rumbleback Rhino. Again, last thing we need are 5-drops. We have 2 others hidden in here. This one isn't particularly awesome, though it does work well with a lot of the scavenge, getting it big. But I'd rather just have a combat trick to round out the versatility of my deck. And we are a little more likely to see Rumbleback Rhino again versus another Giant Growth, to be honest. Here I'm going to do some aggressive hiding, just to kind of get a sense of what sort of our goals are and our goals are for our picks. There's definitely a number of other cards I hid that can round out what we have. You know, we have some OK2s here. I gotta decide, do I want a Grim Roustabout or a Chorus of Might? Again, we have enough creatures, but not a whole lot of 2-drop creatures. Having hid our other kind of lame-o 1-drop. But I mean, we have our Giant Growth, we have our Launch Party. Those are, you know, some decent tricks. It's just we don't need creatures. Do I really want a Chorus of Might? Trample could be important if we're really loading up, but now I'm going to keep the Grim Roustabout on board. Here I'm going to take the Guildgate over this Stonefair Crocodile, just make everything a lot easier to cast. We don't really need 3s. Mind you, we only have, you know, 3 premier 3-drops. We have a Miming Slime, which is probably more of a 5-drop, and an Armored Transport, so this would be perfectly cool. But I think with our triple black, and this makes me really want to play the Guardian a lot more, so I'm actually okay with that. And we'll cut the rare. We might just be doing the Death's Presence thing on a sideboard game plan. Cool, so that's the draft. Pretty fun. Lucky that, or not lucky, very happy that we were in Golgari, and that definitely seemed to be a good guild to be in. We're going to have some holes in the deck that we have to pay attention to while we're playing, and I'll talk about those after deck. Okay, so here's our base build. You'll see, like I was anticipating, definitely some gaps, because here we have a crazy curve of 20 creatures. It says 19, but we also have this Miming Slime, right? And all we have is a Launch Party and a Giant Growth as ways to interact with our opponent. Here you'll see up here the Guardian the Gateless little package with the Selesnya Guildgate and Prophetic Prism. I'm not going to bother main decking this. The only reason to have Guardian come in, it would definitely be a free splash, but it would just come in order to combat flyers, since we only have a thrashing Moss Dog to deal with flyers, really. Yeah, we have Necropolitan Region, but once that guy's down, it's doing other things, really. So this is more like a sideboard card the way Naturalize is. This is to deal with flyers from an opponent with flyers in their deck. Otherwise, I don't think it's worth... Yeah, we get a pretty decent free splash having both these fixers, but then we have to pull another card out to play Prophetic Prism, and there is still, no matter what, the chance of drawing this without our fixing, and then we're just stuck with a card in hand. So, because we're looking at a deck with some pretty strong, powerful cards that can do a lot, but we're really looking to have a creature-based strategy, because that's what we have and what our cards are doing. I definitely want to have this Cluestone in to get to our 23rd playable to help us ramp in. I'm genuinely considering playing Death's Presence, bringing this and a Golgari Key Rune in, getting Death's Presence on early, because in essence what we're doing is just trying to overwhelm our opponent with a bunch of creatures that are way more powerful than what they have. So if that is my strategy, I mean, I think the first cut I make is this Adaptive Snapjaw. That allows me to bring in the other Key Rune that makes it easier to get to our 6-drops. Mind you, 6 isn't exactly the biggest thing in the world, but we also have huge mana sinks with our Gorgon and whatnot. And I think Death's Presence, if there's a deck to play it, this is the deck. I'm going to put it in. Arguably, I could just keep it as a sideboard card against other decks that maybe aren't super aggressive, but instead I think I just prefer playing it main deck, do what my deck does, and have my strategy on board, and then against an aggressive deck, pull it out, and keep in like one of the other guys that I'm ended up picking out right now, which would be probably Thrall Parasite. It's pretty much a do nothing 1-drop. Grim Roustabout's an option too, because we don't necessarily want it to we're not exactly a super aggressive deck, but the nice thing is you can drop them turn 2, attack for a little while, then once one of our Gorgons are out, we can just remove counters and get him to be a blocker later on, versus the Thrall Parasite ends up just jumping, I might gain a little life, and then I need Virals to make it even more powerful. So again, something to come in against an aggressive deck to have more drops, but I think this is going to be the initial guy. Yep, so there's that. Let's go ahead and add in our lands. I will play the Gilgate instead of a forest. Since we're not super aggro, I don't mind having just this random third one to maybe get our gatekeepers online and go late. I'm fine with that. It's basically playing a tapped forest to have higher odds of gaining 7 life. And since this is the only third one, if it was the 4th or 5th, I may not, because you don't want that many enter the battlefield tapped lands, but for what we have now, I'm cool with it. It's saying 7/7. Not that I think it's going to matter a whole lot. 7, 8, 9, 10 green, 7, 8, 9 black, plus these dudes. We do have more green, but that triple black means I'm going to pretty much do a little bit of a skew here. 6, 7, 8. I mean, it still gives me 9 green sources, as well as my key runes, plus 10 swamps in the key runes. So that's obviously overkill, but I want to do that because we do want the Necropolis region down when it's drawn. Sweet. Hopefully this will be fun. It's really just a matter of knowing that our lack of interaction with our opponent's deck is going to be difficult. So we have to keep our eyes peeled for that and really try to make our deck strategy be the predominant strategy in the match so that our opponent has to be dealing with us versus the other way around. Let's see how that works.